booties for black girl nerds.
I had the honor of seeing your film here at the screening. I'm based in Los Angeles, and I went to the screening, and a lot of elements really struck me from not just the visuals, but just the sound mixing and how those things made me feel. Would
Mm.
you mind describing for me your creative process in conveying your story using so much sound and visual versus actual scripted lines, and why you wanted to take that approach to the film?
Yeah, because I knew from the beginning that I wasn't interested in having a dialogue heavy film. I knew that I was going to rely a lot on intricate sound design to convey the emotions of the character, interiority, hopefully, and unveil more of their interiority through sound, and to allow the sound design be like a score for the film, and also just to give a deeper sense of place. And I used to record sound. So even in the writing of the script, I mean, I have sound details. Like I knew sound was going to be so key to the film. And yeah, just adding another layer of texture, to hopefully be able to, yes, allow the viewer a deeper entry into this world and into these characters.
But with the rain being such a vital, it conjures up feelings of rest and calm for me. Is with using that as a choice of vehicle, is that what emotion do you want to conjure into the viewer by using that, being that some people associate rain with disaster, some people associate rain with calm?
Yeah, and in different, it's interesting because in different moments of the film, I'm looking for different things, with the sound of the rain as well as the thunder. And so it was always being intentional with, okay, what's the texture of the rain in this moment? Because what is the emotion I'm going for here in this moment with the rain? And so it's different depending on the scene, what I'm aiming to have it achieve as far as like what emotion I'm hoping it evokes in the audience. For instance, after the grocery store scene, there's that loud hit of thunder and with the quirk on the water. And you also hear that hard rain. We've just come off a scene of, Mac and Wood, that long embrace, it's ended. And then you, of course, are going into the scene, an accident scene on the river. And so knowing I wanted it to be a loud, like break almost, that sound of thunder and that the harshness of the rain. But then I want and then thinking, okay, how is it, how does that compare or contrast with a different scene where I might want it more softer? So it was always just as sitting with what is the scene going for emotionally, and how can the sound of the rain, if there's thunder, the sound of the thunder mirror that.
Mhm. Looking, enjoying Barry Jenkins as a part of the project as well as an executive producer. When I saw the visual of your project, I could see where the two of you would connect, and thinking about some of his past projects. What type of mentoring, maybe, I guess, what did he provide for you in the course of creating the film and being involved with it, if any?
Yeah, excuse me. Barry is just a great ear and a great person who he's a great human, but also he's there in whatever ways the filmmaker needs, And I feel throughout the edit, especially like if I needed eyes on something, if I wanted to get opinions, it would always be um I would always be curious to get thoughts, or on even like how a sound choice is hitting, you know what I mean, with the wider producers, and sometimes um have particular questions for Barry on things. And so he was just always there to like a listening ear if needed, and I'm so grateful for that. And he just really um, provide space for the filmmakers to own their vision, but is always there as support, in whatever ways again is needed. And I'm so grateful for that because this really has been a great collaboration.
To follow with that about owning your vision and having those extra eyes and where those two to intersect, when you have such a strong aesthetic for how you want the film to look, to sound, how difficult is it to self edit? What doesn't make it when you finally see everything filmed? How do you self edit?
Yeah, I think I'm not precious, which I think is very helpful when it comes to that. Like even with the script, going into set, I know I wrote it, but I know it's a starting point. When I'm on set, what's happening before me is the line actually working? If not, it needs to be adjusted. You know what I mean? It's a starting point. And so coming out of production, I knew just be, I knew the film is very modular, like how the script is. Like I knew how it is in the script wouldn't exactly be how it is in the final film. And so we shot more than is in the film, and just knowing that if the film doesn't want it, then it doesn't want it. If it does, it may have worked in the script, but it doesn't work in what we came out with from production, it doesn't need it. And being okay with that, allowing it to listening to that. That would become very clear. And so always listening to that, even if there's several things I love that didn't make it into film, but the film didn't need it.
Mhm. You Things it did need is you have a beautiful cast. Sheila that we know from The Woman King and Charlene and Moses. Beautiful, beautiful cast. What type of conversations did you have with them on that very first day? There's a process, obviously, where they look at the script and they agree to participate in the project. But what is that very first day of filming? And did you film in order? Did you film in the order that we see the film from start to finish? What was the jumping off point?
No, I didn't film in order. I think the first scene we filmed was the digging at the Clay Dart Bank with Sheila and Kaylee. That we filmed out on the first day. But yeah, it was different conversations with different actors, but it was really um like how I like to work. I love to just for the first take to see what the actors have come with and then to go from there. And so it really is like allowing that starting off point of seeing where the actors have come with and going from there and allowing it to be a conversation. Of course, beforehand we would have more specific conversations around things, but with such uh, a film that's dependent on the ways we communicate without words, to each other, like through silences, through gesture, and all of that, I I trust the ability to find it mostly. And again, we talked for sure beforehand, but once we're on set, it's mostly seeing their first intuition in regards to what they want to bring to it and going from there.
Mhm. What is that type? What does a set like that sound like? Because I've talked to lots of creative people. You've got your action movies. There's a lot of bangs and whistles, and you've got comedy and people bouncing off of each other and all these types of energy. What does that energy sound like on a set with the cast and all of the other things?
Well, I'm someone who, speaking of sound, I don't like a lot of noise around, like when I'm directing and where the actors are. So I try to have as little people around as possible to protect the bubble around the cast, but also me. We were trying to go to like sometimes vulnerable places or more interior places. I don't want to be hearing about lunch or something, while folks are trying to go there. And then it's like knowing we have time, like allowing it to, I don't need, I try to protect, get to have a shield from the rushing energy, you know what I mean? And and a lot of the moments, I know what I'm looking for. I know what I'm looking for, but I'm open to the way I get there, and knowing that, um, and yeah, just giving it room, and coming in knowing what I have to get, in each scene. Like if we need to pivot for some reason, if something falls through, if, you know, which we had to pivot a lot on this film, which in some of the pivots were some of my favorite films, some of my favorite moments, I mean. But yeah, knowing what I need, which I did, but also being open to how it lands. And yeah, it's really, and giving this, and it's important for me to give this space again to that first take at the very least, to the actors, to see what they bring, because there are things, of course, I come in with thoughts too of my own, of course, but it's like, but you allowing room for surprise is big too, you know.
And lastly, I love the title because I have Southern roots as well. And
Mm.
I've always read that, there's parts of the earth that people like to consume because it does have a taste that's delicious. And there's a double meaning because, a lot of roads of discovery are paved with tears, which are also salty. What do you think is the stronger uh the message of that? Are the roads paved with more tears, or are they paved with more flavor?
It's interesting. I feel flavor. And the salt, when I think of the title, and All That Roads Taste of Salt, and the salt of it, it's um we all experience pain in life. You know what I mean? This character is this particular, like, the water that, I don't want to spoil it, but there's a particular, of course, pain connection with water for this character. Um, um, and clay dirt, and how it's linked to, like, with clay dirt, it was after rain when the earth smells so rich that folks who eat it are really drawn to the clay dirt of it all. And so it's both of those things. I guess it's I guess actually my answer is both. It's, but I like to say a little more flavor. I think a little more.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Raven, for your time and your beautiful art. I appreciate it, and best of luck to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I enjoyed this conversation.
I did too. Thank you so much.
Better shake your booties for black girl nerves. Better shake your booties for black girl nerves.